Hey guys, Alessio, hope you're well. What could be the cheapest and most undervalued market right now? Let's talk about that. Join me. All right guys, welcome back. So I'm making this video for you from the island of Jersey in the south of the UK. As I'm sure you probably saw from my previous video, I came here and I'm just making a video for you as I'm walking here just by the harbor. Beautiful place. And I want to talk to you about what could be the cheapest and most undervalued market right now in existence. And in case you're wondering, no, I'm not talking about a specific crypto, not one of these garbage cryptocurrencies. Oh, don't get me wrong here. I love Bitcoin, I love Ethereum, and I love probably one more crypto out there. I'm not bashing crypto here. I'm actually quite bullish on some of the cryptos like Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I'm not talking about a specific stock either. What I'm referring to is one precious metal, which you know about, because I mentioned it before in my videos, and that is silver. So it turns out that silver is by far one of the cheapest and most undervalued markets right now. And by the way, don't take my word for it. Even Robert Prechter himself mentioned this in his most recent report. As I'm sure you know, Robert Prechter, the famous analyst, a famous Elliott wave analyst, he mentioned in his recent newsletter, and I agree with him on this because I mentioned this before myself, that silver is perhaps one of the cheapest markets out there. Again, he didn't quite say it like that, but I'm going to put it for you so you can see it and read it for yourself. You may remember that in September of last year, in 2022, I was doing a video with my good friend Bill, and I mentioned this. I mentioned that silver is by far one of the most important markets to be keeping an eye on, and why I was buying silver, why I was bullish on silver. I'll put a clip for you so you can watch it. We'll come back. Bill is going to read out this section, again, courtesy of Jason Geppert. Go ahead.
Smart money commercial hedgers established one new extreme this week, and it's notable. For only the third time in history, hedgers moved to a net long position in silver futures. And
that is the commercial hedgers. And as Bill read out there, it seems that these guys are establishing net long positions, those heavily buying into silver. And by the way, in case you're wondering, well, so what? But the thing is that this is actually very unusual. In fact, even Jason Geppert himself says that this is a very unusual activity. All right, guys, as you heard in that video, which I made in September of last year, the smart money were buying into silver. So there was a heavy amount of buying into silver from the smart money. We mentioned this in our videos, as you recall, last year. And that's why I was buying silver then, and I will still continue to buy silver on any pullbacks. In fact, the most recent pullback that occurred in March, you may recall I mentioned this pullback that occurred at about the February-March period, and I mentioned this pullback could be temporary before we see the next major rally higher, more upside to come in silver, which by the way was correct. That drop pullback was a temporary correction. It was quite a deep correction, as a matter of fact. It went lower than I expected, but nonetheless eventually managed to reverse and go higher. So my own personal view, as I mentioned pretty much in this video, is that I still think, even at the prices silver is right now, I still think it's quite undervalued and relatively cheap. Again, relative certainly to most other major markets. So personally, if I see another pullback, another major correction in silver, I'll still continue to load up on the metal, on the precious metal. And I personally think we have much higher levels to come on silver in the next few years. I think in the longer term, silver could test the prior highs it saw in 2011, near the 45.50 region there on the chart. As you can see, that was the prior high in 2011 at about the $49.50 region. And I think we could go to those levels and perhaps take those levels out in the next year or two. Now, could I be wrong about this? Of course, yes. So I would say my stop loss, my level of invalidation, the point at which I would be wrong is if silver were to drop below the lows of March. The lows of March were about the $20 level. So I would say that's my cutoff point. That's my invalidation point. My view is that as long as silver remains above the lows of March, then I'm going to remain bullish and optimistic on silver for at least the end of this year and going into next year, with much higher levels to come. So as long as silver remains above $20, my perspective and outlook on silver is bullish and to see much higher levels. Again, remember, just like every market, it's going to have ups and downs, it's going to have pullbacks, it's going to have glitches, but I think that those glitches or pullbacks are going to be temporary, and we're going to see continuation of this uptrend on silver, at least for the remainder of this year, as long as it stays above the March lows near $20. All right, guys, hope this video helps. Thank you very much indeed. Bye for now.